We have done so many segments about how important a good night's sleep is for your health. But did you know that the brain is really busy while you're asleep? And researchers are finding that the brain operates a waste flushing system that's more active during shut-eye. So you can actually scrub your brain clean. Is that true? We got to talk to an expert on this. Dr. William Winter is joining us. He's a sleep medicine doctor and a neurologist. And before we get started, Dr. Winter, a big question for you. How well do you sleep?
I sleep fantastically, Jenna. Thanks for asking. And yourself?
Well, if there was anything less than sleep like a baby, I think we'd have to end the segment right there, because we need to make sure that the sleep doctor gets a good night's sleep. I sleep okay, on and off. You know, sleep is tough sometimes.
Good.
And it seems that we have a certain lack of control when we can choose to have a good night's sleep or not. We, of course, would like to have it on a regular basis. So I want to ask you about that in a little bit. But first, to this study, that our brains are operating as a neural trash truck. Can you tell us a little bit about what our brain is doing while we're asleep?
Sure. All the cells in our body create a tremendous amount of waste. And fortunately, there's a system in our body called our lymphatic system that takes all the waste that cells get rid of, funnels it through our circulatory system, and gets rid of it. Up until recently, it was felt that this lymphatic system worked everywhere in our body except for our central nervous system, our brain and our spinal cord. There have been pieces and hints in history that there might be a lymphatic type system in our brain, even dating back to Hippocrates. There was a gentleman named Swedenborg who actually looked at some initial pieces of this puzzle as he was looking for the seed of our soul. But it's been up until very recently that the work of Dr. Nedergaard and others has really put the pieces together into what she's described as the glymphatic system of our body, or a way our brain gets rid of toxins. And what's so interesting about it, particularly to me as a neurologist and a sleep specialist, is it only really works at night.
Interesting. And we're seeing, by the way, we have a lot of what we call B-roll on the screen. We were showing babies sleeping and children sleeping and adults sleeping. Is this just happening all the time, regardless of our age?
Absolutely. And what's important is the researchers have found that one of the things that our lymphatic system is getting rid of is a protein called amyloid beta, which actually accumulates in the brains of patients who have Alzheimer's disease. So in the past, it's always been, well, is the amyloid plaques, are they causing Alzheimer's disease, or are they simply a marker of the disease? And now, with this research, with the lymphatic system being put together and its role relating to sleep, some people are now saying that if we're not sleeping well or enough, we may be putting ourselves at risk for a disease like Alzheimer's disease or other diseases like it. Lewy body dementia, stroke, MS, all of these things we know are related to poor sleep quality. So one thing we might be able to do to make ourselves healthier is to sleep more and sleep better.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I'm sure a lot of folks are thinking, well, listen, I don't sleep great. So does that mean I'm going to get Alzheimer's? First of all, is there a direct connection right now for sure, or does more research need to be done?
I think more research definitely needs to be done. I mean, causation is sometimes difficult to prove. People who have lighters in their pocket might develop more lung cancer. Doesn't necessarily mean the lighters in your pocket are causing the lung cancer. It could be a marker of something else. Well, but I think we're definitely moving the research in that direction, that's saying there could be very direct links between poor sleep quality and some of these neurological disorders.
That's a great example with the lighter. That really brings it home for causation, doctor. So let's get to the heart of the matter, because we'd all like to sleep better.
Sure.
I mean, how do we do that?
I think the most important thing is that we need to set aside appropriate time to sleep. I think that with the economy the way it is, more and more of my patients and people I work with are working longer hours or working multiple jobs, and we absolutely have to prioritize our sleep. Just because somebody can get by with 5 hours or 4 hours of sleep per night for long periods of time does not necessarily mean that they should or that it's at all healthy. So we have to really take a look at our own schedules and at least set aside the time to get the sleep. If your sleep quality is still poor, that might be the time to talk to your doctor or talk to a sleep medicine specialist about some of the intrinsic sleep disturbances, like sleep apnea, for instance, that could be wrecking your night's sleep quality.
Just a quick final question. Do you need the 8 hours to properly clean out your brain, or does that happen intermittently throughout the evening?
I'm not sure that that's known, and we have to be careful when we're kind of talking about 8 hours. Some individuals simply can't achieve that, but I think 7.5, 8 is a pretty good average at least to shoot for. If you find yourself coming up short because you're simply not sleepy, it's okay to wait to fall asleep.
Dr. Winter, some great advice for us today. We look forward to having you back on the program. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.